Okay, so there is a moment in the source material we're covering today that honestly feels almost illegal to read.
Right.
You have Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. You have a High Lord of the Sith. They are scaring each other down in the vacuum of deep space, fully armed, and, tens of thousands of years of history are just screaming that they should kill each other.
And they don't.
And instead, they shake hands. It just breaks every single rule of Star Wars logic that we all grew up with.
It really does. It sounds like a fever dream or maybe some fan fiction that went completely off the rails. But no, we are diving into Star Wars, Fate of the Jedi, Allies by Christie Golden.
And that title, Allies, it's not a metaphor.
Not at all. We are looking at a literal formal alliance between the Jedi Order and the Sith.
But we need to be really clear right off the bat. This isn't the Emperor Palpatine, cackling in a hood kind of Sith, is it?
No.
Because if Luke was teaming up with someone like Palpatine, I think you, the listener, would just check out immediately.
No, and that's a crucial distinction. We're dealing with what's called the Lost Tribe of the Sith.
Okay.
And unlike the Sith we see in the movies, who follow that rule of two, one master, one apprentice, always hiding in the shadows, the Lost Tribe is an entire civilization.
An entire civilization.
Yeah. They've been stranded on a planet called Quiche for 5,000 years. They have families, a functioning economy. They have bakers and artists. They aren't just, mustache-twirling villains. They are a society that just happens to view the dark side as a tool for order.
Well, that almost makes them more dangerous, doesn't it?
I think so.
Because you can't just cut off the head of the snake. There is no one snake.
Exactly. But let's get to the why. Why on earth would Luke Skywalker, the man who redeemed Darth Vader, agree to work with a society that's built on domination?
The madness.
The madness. We've touched on this in previous deep dives, but the galaxy is facing this very specific, terrifying threat. Young Force users, both Jedi and Sith, are developing a psychosis.
And it's not just going crazy, though. The source material is very specific about what it is.
Right. It's effectively a weaponized Capgras delusion.
Explain that for a second.
These young apprentices become completely convinced that everyone they love, their masters, their parents, their friends, has been replaced by an imposter.
Wow.
It's a complete and total break from reality, and we find out it's being caused by this entity in a region of space called the Maw, a being known only as Abeloth.
So you have Jedi Knights who are suddenly terrified that their best friends are fakes, and because they're carrying lightsabers.
That fear turns into homicide very quickly.
Okay.
And Abeloth doesn't discriminate. She doesn't care about light side, dark side. She is reaching out and breaking minds on both sides of the aisle. So Luke Skywalker and his son, Ben, they're out in the Maw trying to find the source of all this rot.
And they run smack into the Sith.
Into the Sith High Lord Sarasu Talon, who is dealing with the exact same problem with his apprentices.
Let's set that scene for a moment, that initial standoff.
Yeah.
Because the tension in the text is just... it's palpable.
It really is.
You're on the Jade Shadow, which is Luke's ship. It's tiny compared to a Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
And then, bam, they're surrounded by 11 frigates.
Chase Master frigates. I mean, it's just overwhelming firepower.
It's a death sentence.
It is. And what really stands out in the text is Ben Skywalker's internal monologue right at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at the tactical readout. He sees they are completely outgunned, and he knows they have a Sith hostage on board Vistara Kai, and he genuinely wonders if he's going to live long enough to reach his father's age.
It's not a hero's bravado. It's not, we can take him.
No, it's a teenager doing the math on his own mortality and realizing the numbers aren't good.
But then the comms open up, and instead of the expected surrender or die, High Lord Talon is.
Civilize.
Incredibly so. He proposes a truce. But what's his angle here? That he just scared of Abeloth?
It's more nuanced than just fear. Alan uses this very specific, very telling phrase. He says, the insult cannot be borne.
The insult, not the threat.
The insult, yes. To the Sith of the Lost Tribe, Abeloth hurting their children isn't just a tragedy, it's an offense to their pride.
That's like someone touching their property.
Exactly. So Talon appeals to Luke not out of goodness, but out of sheer pragmatism. He knows Luke won't fire first if there's a diplomatic option on the table. He knows Luke wants to save the sick Jedi without any more bloodshed.
So he's maneuvering Luke.
He's maneuvering Luke into a corner where the moral choice is also the choice that happens to benefit the Sith.
It's a trap, but it's a verbal one. And Luke walks into it. He agrees, quoting that old envy of my enemy line.
But he adds a caveat, a big one.
He keeps the Sith apprentice, Vistara Kai, on the Jade Shadow, and he calls her a guest.
which is, of course, the most polite political code for a hostage.
Absolutely. But hold on, how does that actually work in practice? I mean, you have a Sith apprentice just sleeping down the hall from you. How does the rest of the crew not just mutiny?
Well, it creates this incredibly claustrophobic, tense atmosphere on the ship. Vistara is charming, she's polite, but everyone knows she's a predator.
And Luke knows it.
Oh, he knows it best of all. There's this fantastic little jab he makes. He tells the Sith High Lord that Vistara isn't the worst companion he's ever traveled with.
Which is hilarious. He's probably thinking of Han Solo.
Or maybe even his own father, you know? But keeping her there is totally strategic. It ensures that the Sith fleet isn't going to just blow them out of the sky.
Because their own princess is on board.
Exactly.
During this trip, Vistara tries to explain the Sith mindsets to Luke and Ben, and she uses this metaphor of a card game, Mahai Shur.
Ultimate success. And this is such a key concept for understanding the entire book, the entire alliance.
Okay, so what are the rules?
In this game, the goal isn't just to win the hand you're playing. The actual rule is that the ultimate winner is the one who never has to play their last card.
That seems kind of counterintuitive. Usually you play your trump card to win the game.
Not for the tribe. See, if you play your last card, you've revealed the full extent of your power. You've shown your entire hand.
There are no more surprises.
No more surprises. To the Sith, true power is maintaining a secret advantage that your enemy doesn't even know exists.
So if we apply that to this alliance, does that mean the alliance is basically doomed from the start?
I think so.
If everyone is holding back their last card, they aren't really allies, are they? They're just temporary partners waiting to betray each other.
Precisely. It's a recipe for mutual destruction that's just disguised as cooperation. Luke thinks his last card is his faith in redemption. Talon thinks is his superior numbers.
And Vistara.
Well, Vistara is the wild card stuck right in the middle of the whole deck.
Speaking of Vistara, we have to talk about her father, Gavar Kai. Because if you thought the Skywalkers had some daddy issues, the Kai family is on a whole other level.
Oh, absolutely. There's the scene where Luke allows a private visit between Vistara and her father on the Jade Shadow.
Private in the biggest air quotes imaginable.
The biggest. Because Luke brings C-3PO along to translate their secret language, Kashiri. He knows they're going to be plotting something. He's not stupid.
And they are. Gavar Kai slips her a gift, a shikar.
And this is a beautiful but terrifying object. The description in the source is so vivid. It's a glass dagger crafted by a master artisan named Tura Sangha.
It's black and white.
Stark black and white, made of glass, so it's completely invisible to weapon sensors. It looks fragile, but the text says it's incredibly lethally sharp.
So he just hands his teenage daughter an undetectable murder weapon right under Luke Skywalker's nose.
He does. But the weapon, that shikar, is actually the less dangerous thing he gives her in that conversation.
What could be more dangerous than that?
His advice. Gavar Kai is very, very observant. He notices that Ben Skywalker, who is about Vistara's age, is,
Looking at her.
He's looking at her. It's the classic Romeo and Juliet setup in space.
But with a Sith twist.
A huge one. Because a normal father, even a normal evil father, might say, stay away from the enemy's son.
Right. Don't get involved.
Gavar tells Vistara to do the opposite. He tells her to use that attraction. He tells her to let her defenses down.
Wait. He tells a Sith to be vulnerable.
Yep.
Isn't that, against their entire code?
And that's the absolute brilliance of the manipulation. He tells her actually feel affection for Ben.
To make it real.
To make it real.
Yeah.
To let Ben sense through the Force that her feelings for him are genuine. Because if Ben senses that genuine emotion, he will lower his own shields. He'll think, oh, she's not just a monster, she's a person with real feelings.
And once his shields are down,
you strike. Gavar's ultimate goal is to turn Ben to the dark side. He views Ben as a prize, a trophy. If Vistara can convert the son of the Jedi Grand Master, it's the ultimate victory for their family and for the tribe.
Wow.
But he's also just brutal about it. He tells her that if she can't turn him, she should just toy with him until he's no longer useful.
And then get rid of him.
And then dispose of him.
That is it's so cold. And it creates this amazing tension where we, the audience, we don't know if Vistara's feelings are real or if she's just an incredible actor.
Or maybe, and this is what's so compelling, maybe it's both.
She could be both.
And that's what makes her so effective as a character. She is weaponizing her own heart.
Okay, so while all this psychological warfare is happening out in the Maw, the situation back on Coruscant is getting just as dangerous, but in a completely different way.
Yes, the political plot. We have Chief of State Natasi Daala.
For listeners who remember the old Expanded Universe books, just seeing Daala as the chief of state of the Galactic Alliance is still a bit of a shock.
It's very strange. She's an ex-Imperial admiral, a former lover of Grand Moff Tarkin.
She hates the Jedi.
With a passion. And she's using the full power of the law to hunt them. Specifically, she's prosecuting the Jedi Knight Tahiri Veila for the murder of Gilad Pellaeon.
Now, to be fair to Daala here, Tahiri did kill him.
She did. There's no question about the act itself. It was during the war with Jacen Solo, and Tahiri was, compromised, shall we say. But the act happened.
But Daala isn't looking for justice here.
No, she's looking for revenge. Pellaeon was her friend. Another Imperial, Admiral Niathal, who committed suicide, was also her friend. She blames the Jedi for all the chaos in the galaxy.
So the Jedi need a lawyer. And this leads to a great scene where Jaina Solo Luke's niece goes to some pretty extreme lengths to get one.
She does. She literally sits on the lap of the head of state of the Empire, Jagged Phil, to ask for a favor.
It's such a rare human moment in all the dense politics of Coruscant.
It is. Jaina and Jag are in a relationship, but their political roles make everything so complicated. He's the head of the Empire, she's a Jedi of the Alliance. It's messy.
But he comes through for her. He finds them Aramuth Buwatu.
I love this character. Can we just take a second to appreciate Buwatu?
Please. He's a Bothan, but he's not a spy, which is a nice change of pace. He's a dandy.
He is fantastic. The book describes him dressed in vests and hats. He carries a cane, and he absolutely refuses to use modern technology like data pads.
He insists on flimsy.
Which is basically paper. He uses paper and ink. He's this eccentric retired professor. Cases he intends to win. So when he walks into Tahiri's holding cell, the entire mood of the story shifts from despair to, maybe a little bit of possibility.
But Daala counters this move immediately.
She does. Her aide, a man named Windorvan, suggests a move that seems really bureaucratic and boring on the surface, but it's actually devastating.
He suggests moving the trial
from a special Jedi court or a military tribunal to a regular civilian criminal court.
Why does that matter so much?
It's a brilliant PR move. I mean, think about it. If Daala uses a military tribunal, the Jedi look like martyrs. They look like special warriors being persecuted by the state. It's a political fight. But if you put a Jedi Knight in a regular criminal courtroom, you put her in the same dock as spice dealers and petty thieves, you strip the Jedi of their mystique.
You're making them seem ordinary.
You are telling the entire galaxy these wizards aren't special. They are just citizens who broke the law like anyone else. It fundamentally delegitimizes the Jedi Order.
So on Coruscant, the Jedi are being dismantled by bureaucrats. Out in the Maw, they're being manipulated by Sith.
It's a bad time to be a Jedi.
And this brings us to Klatooine. The Alliance, both Jedi and Sith, needs to make a pit stop.
Right, they're waiting for Lando Calrissian, but they aren't waiting for the Millennium Falcon or something cool like that. They need a specific ship called the Rockhound.
Which is an asteroid tug.
Exactly, it's an industrial workhorse, and this detail really highlights how desperate this mission is. You can't just take a Star Destroyer or an X-Wing deep into the Maw because the black holes will just tear it apart.
You need a ship designed to haul massive rocks.
Something with incredibly powerful gravity well projectors. Lando is bringing them the only tool that can actually survive the environment they're heading into.
While they wait, the team goes down to the planet, and we get this history lesson on Klatooine that is, well, it's pretty disturbing. It's called the Treaty of Vontor.
This is a really deep cut of lore, and it's fascinating. 25,000 years ago, the Klatooinian species signed a treaty with the Hutts.
Okay, that never ends well.
It does not. In exchange for the Hutts protecting a sacred site on their world called the Fountain of the Ancients, the Klatooinians agreed to serve the Hutts.
Serve them as in?
As in slavery. Permanent, species-wide, generational servitude.
25,000 years of it.
And because the Klatooinians culturally value their word, their honor, above everything else, they still honor this treaty. They are essentially willing slaves because their ancient ancestors signed a piece of paper before the Republic even really existed.
Wow. This leads to a fascinating debate between Ben and Vistara, doesn't it?
It does. They're walking through the marketplace and they see this servitude firsthand. And Ben is just horrified. I mean, he's a Skywalker. Breaking chains is literally in his DNA.
But Vistara...
She just kind of shrugs. For her, it's the natural order of things. For the Sith, there are those who have power and those who serve power. She looks at the Klatooinians and just sees them as useful.
It's just a resource.
Right, and it creates this real friction between them. Ben is trying so hard to see the good in her, to connect with this girl he's attracted to, and then she just drops this casual, offhand defense of slavery.
It's like a splash of cold water.
It really is.
And the thing they're enslaved to protect, this fountain of the ancients. It's not even made of water, is it?
No, it's made of something called wintrium. It's a type of glass that's formed by immense atmospheric pressure over thousands of years.
So what does it look like?
Imagine a geyser that erupted and then was instantly frozen in time. But it's not Harris. It's solid, razor-sharp glass. It looks like fluid motion, but it's harder than steel. It's beautiful and deadly.
And the one single most important rule on Klatooine is...
No technology near the fountain. It is sacred ground, absolutely forbidden.
Which, of course, is a perfect setup for absolute disaster.
Of course. And this is where we have to talk about Daon Stad. He's the Force-sensitive tracker who's accompanying the Jedi.
The one who's been struggling with the psychosis we mentioned earlier.
Exactly. And it hits him hard right there in the middle of the crowded market. The Capgrass delusion just takes over completely.
He looks around and...
And suddenly, in his mind, Ben isn't Ben Skywalker anymore. Vistara isn't Vistara Kai. They are monsters wearing human skin. He thinks he's the last real person left.
And he snaps.
He snaps. He steals a speeder and makes a beeline straight for the fountain.
The one place where a machine is basically an act of war.
Yes.
Yes.
If he crashes that speeder into the fountain, he violates the 25,000-year-old treaty. The Klatooinians could turn on the Jedi. The Hutts could get involved. The entire mission to save the galaxy from Abeloth could end right there because of a traffic accident on a backwater planet.
So Ben and Vistara have to chase him. And this is where we see the huge difference in their training.
It's so stark. Ben is trying to disable the speeder to stop him non-lethally. Vistara.
She just starts blasting the local guards with force lightning.
It's pure reflex for her. There's an obstacle in her path. Destroy it. Ben is literally screaming at her to stop, but she's just clearing the way.
They catch up to Daon right at the edge of the fountain. This is the moment he's about to crash.
And Vistara reaches out with the force.
And Ben flinches. The book says he flinches because he thinks she's going to kill Daon.
Because logically, a Sith would. Daon is a liability. He's mad. He's endangering the mission. The efficient Sith solution is to just snap his neck and be done with it.
But she doesn't do that.
She doesn't. She just knocks him off the bike. She saves his life.
And Ben takes this as proof. He thinks, see, she has compassion. She's not like them. She chose the light.
But I have to push back on that interpretation. Did she really save him because she cares about him?
Or did she save him because she knows Luke needs Daon alive?
Exactly. Luke needs a specimen. He needs to study the illness to find a cure. If Vistara kills Daon, she alienates Luke and maybe breaks the entire alliance her father needs to survive.
So saving him is the pragmatic choice.
If she saves him, she looks like a hero. And more importantly, she gains Ben's trust, which is exactly what her father told her to do.
Lower his defenses.
Lower his defenses. Saving Daon's life might have been the most manipulative, most calculatedly Sith thing she's done yet.
It's the card game again. Mahai Shur.
She didn't play her last card.
She played a card that made her look good while advancing her own goal.
Precisely, and it works. But there are immediate consequences. I mean, they just caused a massive scene, destroyed property, zapped guards, and used forbidden tech near a holy site.
So the local authorities show up and arrest them both.
And throw them in a holding cell together.
Which brings us to probably the most awkward teenage moment in the entire book.
It's great. The guard, a Klatooinian named Baramun, looks at them in the cell and just assumes they're a couple.
And she even comments that their litter would be strong.
Litter. It's such a dehumanizing, animalistic way to describe children. But what it does is it forces the issue out into the open. They're stuck in this small space. The adrenaline is fading.
They start talking. Like, really talking.
For the first time, really. Ben opens up about his dad. He admits that he wasn't always that close to Luke. He says it really took his mother's death to bring them together. It's a very vulnerable moment.
And Vistara tries to defend her own father, Gavar Kai. She insists that he loves her.
But Ben asks this really simple, really clever question. He says, if power is the most important thing to the Sith, why did your father marry your mother? Was she powerful?
And Vistara realizes.
She realizes she has no idea. She doesn't know the answer.
And that doubt is so crucial. Ben is doing exactly what Gavar feared he would. He's not fighting her with a lightsaber. He's using empathy to find the cracks in her indoctrination.
He's asking, is your father's love for you real, or is it just another transaction in the pursuit of power?
It's a duel of influence. Gavar wants Vistara to corrupt Ben.
And Ben is trying, maybe subconsciously, to redeem Vistara. And in that cell, for a brief moment, it feels like Ben might actually be winning.
Until the dads show up to bail them out.
And the mood just instantly freezes over. Luke is there trying to be diplomatic. Gavar is just radiating arrogance and power.
And they both immediately deny the litter comment, right? Our children are not involved in that way.
It's the one and only thing they can agree on.
While this is all wrapping up on Klatooine, the book gives us this subplot on Tatooine that feels, a little disconnected at first. But thematically, it's the perfect mirror image of the Klatooine story. We meet a character named Kit.
Yes, Kit is an 11-year-old slave girl. And she's owned by a Hutt named Trugo, so we have that Hutt connection again.
But unlike the Klatooinians, who accept their slavery because of a 25,000-year-old treaty, Kit is actively fighting it.
Right. She has a slave chip in her shoulder that can detonate if she disobeys, but she's secretly acting as a spy for an organization called the Freedom Flight.
An underground railroad for slaves.
Exactly. And we see her in the Mos Eisley Cantina, of all places. She's shadowing a Bothan pilot who is being targeted by an assassin. And she has to make a choice.
And she risks her own life to save this pilot.
She does. So why do you think the author, Christie Golden, included this? We're dealing with Luke Skywalker, Sith Lords, galactic threats. Why cut away to a little slave girl on Tatooine?
I think it's to show the moral cost of the main plot. It's a contrast.
How so?
On Klatooine, we see this civilized, accepted version of slavery, and even the Jedi are forced to kind of tolerate it to keep the mission going. They don't try to free anyone.
Right. They have bigger fish to fry.
But on Tatooine, we see the brutal, everyday reality of it, and we see true, uncomplicated heroism. Kit is doing what the Jedi should be doing, fighting oppression on the ground level, while the actual Jedi are busy playing these complex political games with Sith Lords.
That is a really scathing indictment when you put it that way.
The little girl is the true Jedi in this part of the story.
In a way, yes. It really highlights how muddy the waters have become for Luke and Ben. They are compromising their core values for what they see as a greater good. Kit is not.
So let's look at the board as we start to wrap this up. The Rockhound is finally on its way.
Lando's coming.
Diane's dad is in custody, so he's safe for now. Ben and Vistara are out of jail, but their relationship has shifted into something much deeper and more dangerous. The Alliance is holding.
But just barely. This unthinkable alliance is a powder keg. And I think what this book does so well is show us that the Sith are capable of civility, of humor, even of a kind of family loyalty.
And that makes them infinitely more dangerous than just a monster you can shoot.
Infinitely. Because you might hesitate.
Ben is already hesitating. He sees a girl he likes, not a Sith apprentice. Luke sees a pragmatic partner, not a tyrant in the making.
And they are walking into the maw, into the literal heart of darkness, hand in hand with the very people who have sworn to destroy everything they stand for.
It all comes back to that card game, to Mahai Shur, who was actually winning this game. Luke thinks he can guide them all to the light.
Talon thinks he can use the Jedi as cannon fodder against Abeloth and then clean up the mess.
And Vistara. She's playing both sides against the middle.
And the really scary part is, in a game where the winner is the one who never has to play their last card, you don't realize you've lost until it's far, far too late.
On that cheery note, we're going to leave you to ponder this. Can an alliance that's built on such fundamental generational distrust ever actually succeed? Or is the Mahai Shur card game the only reality here, where everyone is just biding their time, waiting for the perfect moment to play their final treacherous card? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Star Wars, Fate of the Jedi, Allies. May the Force be with you.